I'm Christopher McClure, IT Director for the Town of Hopkinton and host of Manager's Corner. Each week we bring you different faces from your local town government, different department heads, town employees, members of boards and committees, in an effort to introduce you to the people who make your local government run. This show reminds you that local government is here for you. You have a voice and a say in what happens and an opportunity to participate. We want to hear from you. You see something on the show, you have a question, you want to see somebody be interviewed on the show, send me an email to cmcclure@hopkintonma.gov and we'll do our best to answer that for you. For today's show, we have Maureen Dwinnell, the Treasurer Collector for the Town of Hopkinton. Welcome to the show, Maureen.
Thank you.
So I've been told it's quite a coup being able to get you.
Well, I don't know who told you that.
So this is a Manager's Corner exclusive. I've worked with you for over a year and a half. Almost a year and a half at Town Hall,
right.
And it's been a pleasure working with you, a great relationship.
Pleasure working with you, too.
So we usually divide the show into kind of three segments. The first segment, we want to talk about the role and function of your department, what you do, the services offered to the community, information on how to access your services and get help, etc. And we want to talk a little bit about you, your experience and background, what you enjoy about working in Hopkinton, some challenges, and future goals. And then we want to give a little inside baseball talk into the different departments, maybe some things that residents may not know about the actual workings within the department that they may not see just by interacting, on a casual basis. So we'll start at the beginning. What is Treasurer Collector?
Well, actually, it's two positions. It covers two offices. There's two distinct functions between the collector and the treasurer. Your collector is the person that collects all the money at the window that some people don't like to pay, but everything is relevant,
Yeah.
And from there, it gets posted into the software system. It gets balanced and deposited daily. We keep no cash whatsoever in the office. If we get a deposit ready in the morning, it goes to the bank in the morning. And then from there, it's posted into the accounting system. And then it's posted into the cash book. Mm-hmm. At the end of the year, any of the outstanding taxes, the collector advertises and puts in tax lien and goes through the process to protect the town's interest and make sure that the town collects all the money that it's billed. Glad to say that we don't have that much in tax lien. And I'd like the people to know out there that we have some citizens that can't pay their taxes, not the full amount at any one time, and that our office is willing to take payments if it's weekly, monthly, bi-monthly, quarterly, however they want to pay it. I just want that out there so that they know that.
Yeah.
As far as the bank goes, I have to take that money and turn around as the treasurer and invest it at the highest, safest possible interest rate to make money for the town. And we invest probably, I'm close to $19 million that I invest for the town. Mm. And I have to invest them, I have to ladder it out so that we have money to pay the bills when the bills come due. We put some in CDs, we put some in long-term, all so that we still have access and liquidity for the bank, for the bills. Mm. The other thing is the debt service that we have. I have to track 83 projects in debt service and make 176 loan payments during the year. Mm. And it's quite time-consuming. And there are a lot of restraints in their office. There's only two of us, my assistant and myself. And then we do get some help from the administrative assistant in the assessor's office at times. And basically, we're kept pretty busy every day. Mm-hmm. I don't know what more you want to know about the process, but...
Well, I know in IT you need a thick skin dealing with people, but I know in your department...
But you don't have a thick skin. You don't have to have one with me.
Not with you.
And I want to say that I am very impressed with what you've done for me and how you've helped me so that we can make it better. And with all this online service that we have, it's, you've been an integral part of that and kind of have made it the flow easier. And we do have our online service that can be found on the town website. Right now, we only have the real estate and personal property tax on there, but we are moving all the utility billing over there and all the departmental receipts. That's the other thing the treasurer's side has to do, is collect all the receivables from the different departments, including all the school receivables. Get that in the bank every day, invest that, and I'd like to have more people sign up for the online payments under the invoice cloud from our website, because they have the e-billing, which we are a green community, and everything's paperless and go green.
Right.
Which I'd like to see happen. And
well, let's talk a little bit about the online services and the different, obviously people can still come in and pay their taxes at the counter.
yes,
You made a big change this year that I know raised some questions in terms of going to a quarterly billing.
quarterly billing, but done semi-annual.
Right.
And that was, I was able to save over $10,000 for the town by
Wow.
doing that. I mean, there was a lot of people that were upset, a lot of citizens that were upset, but I tried to advertise it the best I could. And I think once people get into the habit of just getting the 2 bills a year, that it'll be fine.
Right. So the $10,000 savings is big, but also it only means that the paper bills are only going out.
Right.
That period, that with the ability to do e-bill presentment, you can actually sign up online
Right.
and get the notices more frequently.
You can get the notices and the bills mailed to you quarterly.
Right.
And then every quarter, you get 3 notices. If you haven't paid it by like the 15th of the month that it's due, and maybe the 23rd, 21st, and then just before it's due, you get a notice saying that your bill is due. And the more people that sign up for that, the more money we can save, because then you save on envelopes and bill stock and postage, and it would be a tremendous savings, and it's more efficient.
Right. So we definitely encourage people to visit hoppingtonma.gov, click on the online payment link, sign up for e-bill presentments, and
Right.
take advantage of the different online payment options. It's convenient for you, and it saves the town money.
It does. I mean, you can schedule payments, you can do auto pay, you can do partial pays, you can do a monthly payment right online.
Wow, great. Well, let's talk a little bit about the treasurer collector is actually part of the finance department.
Yes.
And we've had Chris Ketchen, the finance director, on. Bob Bushway from the assessors department has come on and just emphasized the role that those different departments play in terms of how the tax rate is set. We talked to Bob about the way the property valuations are done, and talked to Chris about the way the 2.5 override works and the way taxes are set, and that it's all dictated pretty much by state law.
Everything is dictated by state law. Everything we do is dictated by state law. I mean, I know some people don't understand the laws, but I mean, the law is what the law is, but then you turn around and you try to work with the people to make it help work for them. I have to wait for Bob to get all the assessments done and the tax classification hearings and the tax rates set, and then he creates a file that he sends to our software company, who uploads it into our system, and then him and I have to balance all the liens and betterments and Title V's and the taxes and the CPA and anything that goes on the tax bill, and before we can send them out. And I'm required by law to have the third quarter tax bill out by January 1st, so sometimes it's a Christmas present and sometimes it's not, but we do the best we can to make it happen.
Yeah. And we'll just remind people the budget process is a completely transparent process. In the spring now, the Appropriations Committee and Capital Appropriations Committee and Selectmen are all meeting and reviewing the budget. These are all public meetings, and people are encouraged to come and ask questions and provide feedback. And
the finance director, Chris Ketchen, and Bob Bushway, the assessor, and I are a financial team that we work together to put that budget together. And you could ask any one of us, what anybody needs to know in the budget itself. Everything is put on paper, it's out there.
Right, and then on, again, hopkintonma.gov, all the budget information gets posted ahead of town meeting.
Yep.
The different warrant articles, capital projects, et cetera, are available. And encourage everybody to come out to town meeting in May, and all that information is posted on the town website and town calendar.
That's something else we have to thank you for.
Oh, well, I'll pay you after the show for all unsolicited praise here.
Well, I think we've come a long way as far as technology, because we're able to get all that out there. I mean, anybody can go. I get a lot of emails from taxpayers, and that's because it's out there on the web. My email address, my phone number, anything is there, and
Right.
I encourage people to email or call anytime.
Yeah.
Anytime they have a question. We'll stop what we're doing to answer anybody's question.
Yeah, definitely. Well, let's take a break for a minute and talk a little bit about you. How long you've been in Hopkinton, some of your background. So let's talk, how long have you been in Hopkinton?
I was born and brought up in Hopkinton. Yeah. I now live in Upton.
Yeah.
I've been treasurer-collector for 25 years. I was the last elected treasurer-collector and the first appointed treasurer-collector. I was also on the board of a selectmen, and I served there for 6 years, 5 of which I was the chairman of the board. I was the state elected member to the Metropolitan Planning Organization for all your transportation projects, your intersections, your lights, your signals. I was on the 495 corridor for shared solutions and regional planning. I was on their board of directors. It's now called, it has another name to it now, and I was the co-chairman of the Central Mass Transportation.
Wow.
And I've been around government. I know government pretty well, and when I first came in as treasurer-collector, I didn't know what I had got myself into. Everything is so different the way things are handled. Government is altogether different than private. I come from corporate in the private sector, and it's handled altogether different. I want to pay a bill, well, you can't. Why can't I? Because you can't do that in government.
Right.
You know, it's a big transition. And I can understand the people out there not understanding. I mean, it's very complicated. It's nothing like anybody's ever been in before, I don't think.
Right. Yeah, there are definitely unique challenges to working in government.
Right.
How have you seen the town change in your tenure working for the government?
Change, we have become more transparent. When I came in, it was very, very political, very political. And I don't play politics. I make decisions based on business. It's a business decision and not a political decision, and what's ever in the best interest of the majority of the town. And the minority you work with, you help them through everything. The technology is unbelievable. We've come a long way. I mean, I thought we had come a ways before you had come, but you've brought us to all new levels of technologies and the efficiencies, and we're able to reduce our staff and still see efficiencies, still efficiencies out there to be seen. I'm looking at a lot of things that I'd still like to do to make things easier, not just for the taxpayer, but for our office also. It's long and tedious work, and it's between collecting at the window, posting on the system, answering the phones, people coming in and needing projects done. I just think there's other ways out there. You're going to help me, right?
Yeah. Well, we can talk a little bit. I know one of the things that people may not realize is that the finance departments are practically being constantly audited. By independent reviewers to make sure that everything is done legally, and you know, there's some independent oversight. And that one of the challenges that we've identified in the last year or so is that we have sort of disconnected financial systems.
Yes.
That we're struggling a little bit to talk to each other efficiently. And much like we've done with our Google system for communication and our GIS and database system and linking that information together, we've identified a unified accounting financial system as a goal for the coming year.
That is, and that would be something that we really have to look forward or look into. I have a software package, the assessors have a software package, the accounting has a software package, and none of them speak to each other.
Right.
I mean, we create these little bridges, and sometimes they work and sometimes they don't work. You're duplicating and triplicating your work sometimes, right, because instead of having everything flow into one area, you have to run the reports, then the accounting has to do it, and then the assessors have to do it. I said, it just doesn't come together.
Right.
And I think that would be the biggest efficiency we could ever do is integrate, get an integrated system or something that talks to each other.
Right.
Hopefully someday we will.
Yeah. Well, I know we've started a discussion about it, and the auditors have recommended.
Oh, the auditors have definitely recommended it. They said we need it.
Yeah.
Definitely.
And we've seen how that works in the other projects we've launched, and just the efficiencies gained,
and
eliminating what we call data silos, where the data lives in standalone Excel spreadsheets and stovepipes, and bringing all that together. It's just night and day, the difference.
Getting away from the paper too.
Yeah, well, slowly.
Slowly, well, but that's because you have 3 or 4 different systems that you're working with. I mean, if the accounting needs something, I have to run a report and give it to them. There's paper. And then they have to look at that, enter it into their system, or come back to me and say, well, this isn't the right one, and you run another report. It's just, if everything flowed to one area, I think it would be great.
And it's encouraging. One of the things I enjoy about working at Hopkinton is there seems to be very little resistance to positive change.
No, there's very little resistance. You always get a few that have that resistance first, but once they see how good it, how easy it is, how efficient it is, and why am I doing it this way when I can save hours by doing it that way? And I think that people have the confidence in it now that these changes have been great, and you haven't just dumped it on them. You've slowly migrated to these new systems, and you've taken your baby steps and your first steps, and we're getting there.
Definitely.
Definitely.
What would you describe as maybe one of the biggest challenges you faced in Hopkinton over the years?
Budgets.
Is there anything that stands out in particular in your various roles?
I mean, we have so many projects. It's trying to meet the needs with the budget you have. I mean, we have a lot of assets that we need to take care of so that they last. Sometimes when the budget is level funded, I mean, you have no money to maintain your assets, which is very important to the town. I mean, we've put a lot of money into these projects, and you like to see them taken care of. We're trying to work that into the budget process now and still, stay under the levy limit. It's difficult, but then you have all these new technology projects that I can't tell you how much time they've saved. They really have, and a lot more time can be saved.
What's one of the most favorite things you've worked on?
Everything. I love my job.
Yeah.
I do. It's something new every day. I just got through doing a bond issue. We just added $6.2 million more onto the debt service. And in order to prepare for that bond issue, I have to do somewhere around a 48-page official statement. And we had to complete our audit to meet with Standard & Poor's to maintain our AA+ rating. Sometime we're not too far from a AAA, which it shows. When I went out to bid for this bond, we got a 1.5% on $8.2 million, because I included a refunding in that saved the town $225,000. And we got a $491,000 premium. Part of that premium goes to the general fund. Any of the debt excluded projects, I have to do a schedule. Part of the premium is allocated to those debt excluded projects, and I do a debt schedule, or a schedule, that reduces the debt exclusion every year until the bond is done. Then the balance, which was $104,000, goes into the general fund. The sewers portion of the the premium was $111,000. The CPA got $67,000. The water got $23,000. They got $63,000, and the CPA got $36,000.
Wow.
So we did. I mean, the Parks and Rec got $36,000. So you split it up so that everybody gets a piece of the premium that goes to help reduce the debt cost.
Yeah, so 48-page report was one of your favorite things?
Yeah, I like doing that. It talks about the physical characteristics of the town and the economic characteristics and the per capita, the household income, the collections, the 10 top taxpayers, the general governments, and there's a lot that goes into it.
I still procrastinate my 2-page town report every day.
I procrastinate. Now, you wouldn't think that I would, but I procrastinate 3 paragraphs.
Well, let's talk a little bit more about the bond rating, because I think that is something that's similar to the private financial sector.
Yes.
In that, in a lot of ways, the town is like a private company.
Yes.
And in terms of our bond rating, we're looked at in terms of how well our professional management is run.
That's correct.
Are we a risky investment or a good investment?
Our reserves.
Our reserves, the financial health, and the importance of having a really good professional financial staff becomes apparent in controlling that bond rating.
Correct.
Because when those little details aren't taken care of and the bond rating isn't so good, the town pays more interest when we go out to borrow money, and we're
Yes.
seen as a higher risk. So what could be a relatively small investment in terms of making sure we keep up with good professional staff, good software, good processes, good audit,
Right.
actually
Good management.
saves the town potentially millions of dollars in the long run in terms of
Oh, I
how
would
we
say
borrow.
it has. We've had a AA+ rating now for about 9-10 years, and we have saved a lot. The lowest rate I ever could get was 4.79. And then the last, not this past bond issue, but the bond issue before, I got a 3.79, and this one came in at 1.5% because in that official statement it talks about your management, and we met with Standard & Poor's, the finance director, the assistant town accountant, Bob Bushway, and the financial advisor from the bank, and we talked through all the managements and the management styles and how well the team that we have formed, how we're going to fund OPEB and funding our stabilization, which is our reserves, our undesignated fund balances. We talked about that, and even though we're still a AA+, when we went out to bid, they bid us as a AAA town, the private out there in the bond market. And that was apparent with that 1.5% rate.
Right.
So if I can get up to a AAA, I'm this close. We could get that all the time.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's great. All right, Maureen. Well, we're going to wrap up.
Okay.
So Maureen Dwinnell, it's the tax man in Hopkinton.
Yep.
And she's not scary and is more than happy to help you, talk to you about your taxes.
Yes.
We have a lot of programs to help people with their taxes.
That's the other thing. We have the senior work program. You put 95 hours in and you receive $750 off your taxes. We also have the tax relief that comes from the donations that people give when they pay their tax bills, or they can send it in any time. And we try and, there's applications you have to fill out, and we've been able to give this year $500 off of taxes for senior and disabled taxpayers.
So definitely looking to taking advantage of that.
Right.
If you have any questions regarding your tax bill or the collection process, stop by the town hall, visit us, shoot Maureen an email, call.
I'm happy.
Definitely check us out online at hopkintonma.gov. Take advantage of the e-bill presentment.
Yes.
Help the town save additional money. Help us stay green by reducing paper.
Right.
It's a convenience for you. And as always, there's lots of other exciting resources and services available on the town website. Be sure to click on the Follow Us tab. The town is on Twitter, we're on Facebook, we're on Google+. We have email lists, and lots of information is posted on the town website every day.
Very good.
Until next time, I'm Chris McClure, IT Director for the Town of Hopkinton, your host of Manager's Corner.
Thank you, Chris.
Thank you, Maureen.
HCAM-TV showing movies.
That's right. Dive and Drive-In's a new show on HCAM.
Join Mike and I as we present some B movies.
Movies that have piqued the two Mike's interest.
And not to mention, they're also free.
We'll give you some interesting tidbits about the cast and crews.
And point out some of the reasons these are classic B films.
So check out the HCAM-TV website at hcam.tv for movie names and showtimes.
I'm Dr. Sharon Levy. Abuse of substances like alcohol and marijuana is associated with the 3 leading causes of adolescent death: motor vehicle crashes and injuries, homicides, and suicides. If you suspect your child is using substances, there is help available. Programs like the Adolescent Substance Abuse Program at Boston Children's Hospital are committed to providing exceptional care, from advice on how to manage a young person who has begun experimenting with substances to treatment for adolescents with addiction and everything in between. Care begins with a full mental and physical assessment. Treatment options include individual counseling and education, monitoring programs and drug testing, medication treatment for substance dependence, parent guidance, and group therapy for adolescents and parents. For more information, visit the Adolescent Substance Abuse Program at Boston Children's Hospital.
Hi, I'm Cheryl Peralt, host of the program Meet Your Neighbor on HCAM-TV. This show introduces you to Hopkinton residents, the many interesting people who are our neighbors, and we invite them to share stories, experiences, insights, and observations from their lives. We'd like to hear who you think should be interviewed on our program. So if you know someone that Hopkinton should get to know more about, please email me, and stay tuned for more episodes of Meet Your Neighbor on HCAM-TV.